I was transported, teleported. Okay, Josh upset their plans. Mallory walked out here? She stole the show. If you want something with story arcs, with strong characters, with eliminations and battles, you need to look no further. Sequester is where it's at. Hey everyone, it's Zach back again with another video, and today we are going to be going over the premiere episode of Sequester Season 4. I'm so excited to get into this and to talk about this, and I definitely wanted to make a video to just discuss and unpack all that was going on in that episode because there was a lot. It was full of drama, it was full of entertaining, riding the wave. I don't even know what was going on when I was watching it because it was just too much, and it was so much fun. So if you don't know what Sequester is, it's an online reality show that's airing on YouTube every Sunday, and it was made by the amazing Audrey Middleton. I'll have it linked down below, but I'm telling you, if you want something messy, if you want something with twists, if you want something with turns, if you want something with story arcs, with strong characters, with eliminations and battles, you need to look no further. Sequester is where it's at. So I'm so excited to jump into this and to begin talking about this amazing episode. Before we start even talking about the episode, I just want to say, going into the very first clips and the very first images that we saw going into the show, the production, let's give them a round of applause. They had me feeling like I was transported, teleported in a world, I'm a gigabyte, I don't even know, I'm a something digital. They had me in the sphere, in the computer, you know Wreck-It Ralph when they're on those little wires and they're like jumping in the wires. That's what I felt like I was doing when I saw this intro. They showed some of the old mini highlights and just some other stuff, explaining what was gonna be going on and just the game and everything, and I just want to applaud that intro and just give that some praise and shed some light on that because that was amazing. All right, going on to the episode. So the first thing that we start to see is the cast meeting each other. And this is so fun because I know some of you might feel the same or some of you might not, but we know some of these people. We've been watching some of these people and following some of these people for a while. So it's just seeing them meet is just crazy because you only see them on their little computer screen in their box. And it's oh my God, this is how tall they are compared to this person. This is what they look like in real life. This is not just online anymore. It's taken to a whole nother level. So I loved seeing the interactions with all of the cast when they were first meeting each other. It seemed everyone's gonna give off those, oh yeah, happy to be here, I'm throwing off good vibes, keep me in the game type thing, as we know. And was some of it potentially played up?
Yes.
And the next thing I wanna go into is early alliances and who is the most connected and disconnected in the house, because that's what I was thinking after I saw the group start to move in. I was seeing the first set of people and then the second set of people, and I was like, okay, wait, we can make some little connections here and some little alliance shares. I definitely think that Jacob and Muna are some of the most well-connected players in this cast and in this game. I just feel like they have a broad reach with everybody here, and their personalities and knowing them, I feel like they can get people that they were not even aligned with or connected with, and they can make them feel like they're their number one. They can make them feel special and feel like they're gonna ride it out with them. So definitely I'm gonna be keeping an eye on those two, and I'm so excited that they're in this game. I'm a Muna stan. Let's just hold it up real quick. That's my girl. My friend, her mom was watching this episode for the first time, never have seen anything from Sequester, didn't know anybody, and her mom said, I love Muna. That's just the effect that Muna has. I'm just about to put that right there for all y'all. All y'all need to know that. All right. So Going on to talking about who I feel like the least connected was, I definitely felt like the least connected was Josh and potentially Rachel. So Josh, it seemed like he just would be an early target. In preseason, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm not like too sure about like Josh, I don't know him that well. But in this episode, y'all got a rude awakening coming if y'all thought Josh was about to roll over and go home easily. But bringing it back, one moment at the beginning that I loved was when Billy and Josh made an unlikely connection, and like an unlikely little, I don't know if it's an alliance, but a little unlikely duo. I played with Billy a long time ago. I know how genuine Billy is, and it was just so amazing to see her like talking to Josh and actually like giving him a chance and being like, okay, like I'm kind of down to ride with you and work with you, and I feel a genuine connection with you. So that was one of my favorite moments that I saw at the beginning that I really liked. Another thing, Katie and Spencer, they played in the same mini, so thinking that they're gonna have each other's backs going forward, I feel like that is an alliance that we can look out for. And then lastly, the Untouchables. I'm about to get Marcelo for saying the Untouchables.
I've been cool and calm for the past 3 weeks, but they trying me. They trying me.
No. When I heard that in the chat, I was shook, and I was like, not Untouchables. Y'all can see me in the chat. I was like, not the Untouchables, Marcelo. Jacob and Marcelo, love both of them. 5'9" team, amazing. But yeah, I am going to be looking at this closely, and we're going to see if they stay loyal to each other the whole game. The edit had a fun little fake out moment when Jacob was talking about Muna, and we thought that he was going to say that Muna was his like number one, but he actually said it was Marcelo, and that was a fun little moment in there, so props to the editing. But we have to see if it's gonna last or if it's gonna break. We were gonna be excited to take a look at that. Talking about alliances, ending our chat about alliances, we have to bring up the 6. I like most of the members in the 6, but it's just like, we do not want to see a big alliance running the game again. I want to see this break. Did I think it was gonna break in episode 1? I didn't, but I am happy that it did break, because that would have not been fun to watch. Are they gonna continue on as the 5 would be the question, with Brent, Jacob, Muna, Katie, and Marcelo. That would be an interesting alliance to see. We don't know. We then get a knock at the door and a note from Sequester bot, and they're basically explaining how the voting is gonna work, how we're gonna call out 3 people to reveal their votes this season, which makes things extra messy because of the battle match aspect. If you don't vote with the person and they call you out, you're most likely gonna get dragged into that battle match. So you better be ready to put up or shut up, and be ready to fight when you put in these votes. So that was super fun to see. But the moment that absolutely stole the show for me was Miss Mallory. Mallory walked out here? Fembot came out! And I thought I was watching America's Next Top Model. Y'all gotta watch how she walked out of there. She was stomping out in this little area, and I was like, okay, Mal, okay, Mal. I was in the comments like, Mal, like, she stole the show. Like, this was the moment. Look at how she's standing there in these boots. She knows that she is running the game, so I love seeing that. So moving on to the first game, it is Safety and Exile, and this game is chaotic. I would be so stressed if I was there playing this game. You 100% want safety, but if you're in exile, you have to strategically think and plan what to do to make sure that you don't go home. Basically, one person starts off a chain and they're given safety, and they are allowed to exile one member, and then that cast member is allowed to make another cast member safe. And that cast member then makes someone go to exile. So it is a back and forth of giving safety and then exile, safety, exile, safety, exile. I can only imagine the stress that all of these people were facing going through this, like the stress that they were seeing. RIP to them and giving them blessings for that. But basically, Marcelo gets to start off the safety, and I was super shocked, like, oh my God, Marcelo's starting it off. I personally, watching this show, I wanted Josh to start off with the safety because I knew that Josh was in the most trouble. A lot of people were targeting Josh. The 6 was targeting Josh, and it just seemed like he was going to be the easy first boot of this show. I was really like rooting for the underdogs and hoping like, okay, Josh, upset their plans. Get this first safety and have all of them literally be shook to the core because they do not know what you're gonna do. So I was hoping for Josh to get it, but I was happy that Marcelo got it. And yeah, I just feel like Marcelo getting the first safety, I think that he potentially wanted to show allegiance to the 6. That might be why he put up Josh. Instead of trying to work with Josh, he's probably be like, this was the target that we agreed on. Let's make it easy and let's put Josh into exile. I would have loved to see him flip the script and go for someone else, but I mean, I understand if he was trying to be loyal to his alliance, then maybe that's why he did that. So basically, Josh is put up for exile, and I'm loving Josh at this point of the show. I'm sure a lot of the viewers are rooting for Josh as well. He was running looking for LOSs right when he got in the house. He was playing more hard than we were thinking. I didn't have high expectations for Josh going into this game. I was just like, oh, I don't know him too well. But he is proven to be a dark horse, and I feel also like Rachel and Natalie might be dark horses that we're gonna see in this game as well. But he literally was not accepting the fate that he was gonna be first boot and that he was the easiest to get out. He was fighting tooth and nail to stay in this game. So I love to see that. So Josh gives safety to Billy. This was the moment where I was like,
ciao.
This was not the move. You need Billy in exile with you.
Yeah, trippin'.
So basically for safety in exile, if you're not safe and you're in exile, you wanna make sure that you can barter your safety that you're gonna be able to give and make sure that they put someone in exile that is your ally that's gonna vote with you. Because if you're in exile with a lot of your allies, you don't have anything to be worried about. You can go into the vote a little bit more comfortable. You can never be too comfortable, but if your allies are with you in exile, it definitely helps rather than being there with like no one that you know. So him giving safety to Billy, I was like, that speaks volumes to Billy's social game for Josh trusting in her that much to give her the safety. But I just wish Josh was thinking a little bit more strategically and gave it to someone that would have put Billy into exile with him. So Billy and Josh could have been a unit of 2 in exile and potentially grabbed some more people and changed the narrative of who was getting safety and who was getting exile. So that is one thing that I would have liked to see. So then going on, Billy then puts Mr. J West into exile, and J West, I don't know what was going on. I feel like he potentially could have aligned with like Jacob and Muna type thing, but I'm not sure what the disconnect was or what was going on there. But it seemed like he wanted to go into exile when I was watching the show. He was pretty confident that he could do well. So I mean, I wasn't like too like sad about it, like, oh, but I was like, okay, well, if you wanted to go into exile, then let's see what you can do. So Jay West then gives safety to Shireen and tells Shireen to put Katie into exile, because at this point Katie is now becoming a target, which is crazy because I was like, how did she become a target? I don't know if it was Josh putting in work to get out Katie. I have to go back and watch, but Katie definitely was on the top of the list as a target, and I was surprised that they did not target Brent. I thought that Brent would be in trouble really early in this house, but I was happy that he was like steering clear a little bit of the fires because I wanted to see Brent play. I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go. So when Katie gets put into exile by Shireen, Katie is livid.
I done tried my best to hold my tongue, and I swear on everything I'm about to lose my mind in this bitch.
She needs to now stack exile with her allies. Period. That's the strategy. You need your allies in exile. So I personally thought that she was going to want Spencer or Brendan in exile with her, but she flipped the script and she wanted Brent in exile with her. So Katie ends up giving Brendan the safety and asked Brendan to put Brent into exile. Brent was not a fan of this plan at all. As expected, I wouldn't really be a fan of this plan either. I would want like something else more solid. But Brendan, it seemed like he was like wavering a bit on who he was going to put into exile. But here's where we had a great moment of gameplay from Miss Muna. So Brent told Muna that he would give her safety if he went to exile. So then Miss Muna ran over to Brendan and said,
okay, I don't think he's gonna be any kind of mad if you put him up.
Because she didn't know that she was gonna get that safety. That was a moment I had to give some applause. That's like Muna. I'm like, yes, that's my girl. I know her, I know it, yes. Oh, and before we hop off of Brendan, I just wanna say that Brendan's edit in this show is hilarious. He's getting like the goofy, funny edit, but don't sleep on Brendan because I think that he's going to literally come and shake the house up. So I feel like it's like this funny edit for now, but don't sleep on him. So going back to the chain, Brendan sends Brent into exile and Brent saves Muna, which he said he was gonna do. So he kept his word. Brent asked Muna to send Spencer to exile if Muna got safety. Muna was just like, I don't really talk to Spencer like that. I'll put him in exile right away. I'm fine with that. And I was just like, okay. So then Muna tells her ally, Jacob, go talk to Spencer before I make this decision and make sure that he'll save you if he gets put into exile. She told Jacob this before she even put Spencer into exile, before she had her chats. Like, she was setting Jacob and herself up, which is amazing. So Jacob goes, talks to Spencer. He's like, Spencer, like, if you get put in there, like, oh, I'm worried, like, can you save me? Spencer agrees. So ding, Jacob and Muna's social game is literally going to work. They're working 9 to 5. They're clocking overtime today in this first challenge. All right, so then Muna puts Spencer into exile. Spencer saves Jacob. And Jacob is the last one safe, sending Natalie and Rachel to exile. So the thing with Natalie and Rachel, I really am intrigued by them and I want to see what they do in this game because I feel like people are really sleeping on them in this house and I feel like they can be good votes or good numbers, and honestly I feel like they can be strategic and can do some damage in this house. So I would love to see it. I hate that they were the last two on the chain because I know that always feels like so like, ugh, like why am I the last one on the chain? Honestly, I am rooting for these girls and I hope that they give us something. They're kind of the underdogs for me for watching right now. Josh, Rachel, and Natalie. So I would love nothing more than to see these underdogs rise in this game and do well. So that's why the episode was such an exciting one, because Josh was giving us a lot of life. He was taking us on a roller coaster and he was awesome. So going on to the game, the final vote was between Josh and Katie. So they were the only two people that received votes for the whole thing, and Josh talked to a few people. Josh did do some campaigning. He threatened Brent to take him into the battle match if he didn't vote with him. And I believe Josh thought that he had Jay West's vote as well, which he didn't. So the final vote comes out and Josh is eliminated. He calls out his 3 people. He calls out Katie, Brent, and Jay West. So Katie, she's like, I voted for you, period. Brent says, I voted with you against Katie. Sorry, Katie. Jay West comes out and says, I voted for you, Josh. I voted for you to be eliminated. This was where the tea was at, because Jay West had previously told Josh that he was gonna vote with him to get out Katie, since Katie was like the target for them. And Josh says, Katie, I want to battle match you. I'm taking you to the dungeon. I'm taking you to the battle match. Let's go. One of us is gonna survive this, and I hope it's me. So I'm just like, oh shoot, like I didn't know that he was like gonna take Katie, but like good luck like to both of them in the battle match. But then Katie being the one, being that girl, being that bad bee, she pops up and says,
Jay West immediately stood up and said, we can go for Josh, if that's what's easiest. He left
No.
and said, we can take you. No, the other people who are in there can own up to the fact that you also said we can take out Josh.
I said I wanted you out. I said
I know,
wanted
and
you in.
and then Josh
Buddy
walked
right
away.
there.
And then Josh walked
Bro.
away.
so like she was basically telling Josh, like, Jay West is the one that you need to be looking at because he the one that promised you a vote. I voted you right in front of your face. He did that and stabbed you in the back when I stabbed you in the front. So that made Josh rethink his decision. And Katie was smart for piping up and saying something, because she could have just been like, okay, and stepped forward and went to the battle match and potentially could have lost her chance at the money and her chance at this game. But she stood her ground, she stood up for herself, and it was a great moment of TV to watch. So Josh ends up changing his decision and he takes Jay West into the battle match. Jay West was talking a little bit back to Katie, and it was just a messy situation. If I was Jay West, I would have shut my mouth and been quiet. Like once Katie started popping off, I would have just been quiet. Like I wouldn't have said nothing back. I wouldn't have fueled the fire. But he had some things to say back, which I understand. Like if you're in the moment, you're just like, they're not about to get me like this. They're not about to clown me like this. I need to say something. So he said something and it got him put into elimination, unfortunately. Yeah, so that was a iconic, excellent moment to watch and to witness. Loved it. All right, so then they go into this puzzle, and this is like a vertical puzzle. It looks kind of hard, y'all. I have never done a puzzle like this, and I don't know if y'all have. I don't know if y'all practicing this at home during quarantine. I do not even know the strategy for this, but like I would have tried my best if I would have had to do it, but it looked kind of tough. I just want to say that. And Josh ends up pulling it out. At a moment, I did think that Jay West was gonna win because he had a ton of pieces on there and Josh looked a bit confused. But Josh ended up pulling out that win, and he rewrote his narrative and said, I'm not gonna be the first boot. Even though all y'all want me to be the first boot, and all of y'all literally have expectations like that are like this much of me, like y'all don't think nothing of me in this game, I'm gonna show y'all that I'm here to fight and I'm here to stay. And that is what I love to see, and that is what makes a great episode and good TV. So claps to Josh for pulling that out, for making sure that he was not the first one out of this game. It was just so awesome to see, and I definitely respect Josh for that. All right, so with the ending, last thoughts on the game. Jay West, I would have loved to see him play some more, so I hope that he gets another shot, or I can get to see him in the future because he seems like an awesome competitor and a good game player. But yeah, before we sign off, I just want to give a huge nod to the editing of this episode. The music, the production, it all looked top notch, top tier. Cameras were crisp, angles were lit. We had some nice bird's eye view shots, we had some close-ups, we had nice panning. Everything looked really professional, so I want to give a huge nod and a huge applause to the production team and everybody for getting that together and making it look so amazing. So thank you all for that. But yeah, and the edits were hilarious for Marcelo, especially Spencer, and then Brendan. So Marcelo had kind of like the people's person, I don't know how to say it, the people's voice. He was giving us true tea, real tea, no BS. Like Marcelo was telling it like it was. Like all of the stuff that he was saying out loud, I was thinking in my head, I was just like, oh my God, he's clocking and I'm here for this. Like he's talking about how everybody's fake at the beginning with the intros. I'm like, T. He just really had great moments and great additions to add for commentary during the show and the episode, and I really enjoyed watching him. And I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised with Marcelo to see how he plays, and just to see how much fight that he has inside of him and passion, because he is a really awesome competitor and an awesome person. So definitely keep an eye out on Marcelo. The Brendan edit was the goofy funny edit. We touched on it a bit, but love it. I do think that he's gonna have a turn and he's gonna be a strategic force, so don't sleep on him. And then the Spencer edit. Spencer had a little Captain America thing going on when he was talking, and people were just like, and that was so funny to see that play out. It was just overall great. So I love that. I love to see it. All right, future predictions. I want to predict that Muna is gonna win the game. I want Muna to go super far. I think that Muna is equipped to do this. Honestly, I'm not gonna be surprised if we see Josh get targeted again, but hopefully if he does, he can do some work in some battle matches and be safe. Other than that, Brent, I feel like, I want to touch on Brent really quick. I feel like if Brent can get past some of the early rounds, that he can go really far. And I feel like Natalie is gonna be a silent killer, and she's gonna make it far as well into the game. But yeah, that's some just little predictions and little things that I'm just like looking into, like, like, is this gonna happen? We'll see. So that concludes the premiere recap of Sequester Season 4. As I said, if you did not watch this, the link is down below. If you want some good TV, if you want some good drama in your life, check this out. The cast is literally stellar and the production is amazing. You'll feel like you're watching a show on Netflix or somewhere else. Like, it is top tier. And I hope that it can pick it up for Netflix. Put it on Netflix. Let's watch it on there. Like, I'm here for it. Let's start a petition. Let's get it on there. But yeah, overall, super fun to watch. So fun to engage with people and talk to people in the community and just chat about the episode and to see people that I watched online playing the game and doing something like fun. So it's just awesome all around, and I'm so happy that I got to witness it and that all of us got to watch it together. All right, well, that is all for today. Thank you so much for sticking through this and watching this whole thing. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. But other than that, we'll see you guys soon, and we'll keep doing little videos or after shows for Sequester Season 4 Live, because why not? It's awesome, it's fun. We're here to talk about it. We're here to make content for it. We're here to support it. Yes. All right, have a good night, everyone. Bye.